Welcome to you to your favorite YouTube channel, Udaya Bhanja. At first, in rule number 1, we should know the topic that is gerund and the definition of the gerund. What is the gerund? Gerund is the present participle form of a verb. Gerund is the present participle form of a verb that is used as a noun in a sentence. And only for this reason, we can say that present participle form of a verb plus used as a noun in a sentence is equal to a gerund. And as the ing form of a verb is used as a noun in the sentence, so the gerund is also known as a verb noun. A verb noun. So what is gerund? So at first we should know the definition of gerund. What is gerund? The present participle form of a verb. The present participle form of a verb. So far as the participle is concerned, you may have knowledge that there are two types of participles: present participle and past participle. What is present participle? That means the ing form of the verb. That is known as present participle. And V3, and that is known as past participle. But here, the topic of today is the gerund. That means only the present participle form of a verb. And as the present participle form of a verb, and it must have ending with ing form. So present participle form of a verb or ing form of a verb used as a noun, in a sentence is known as gerund. And then now we can see here participle two types: present participle, past participle. Present participle, that means ing form of the verb, and past participle, that is V3. And in notably, I have written a verb noun. A verb noun. A verb noun is the gerund. And if anyone will ask you what a gerund is, you can simply reply: a verb noun ending in ing is known as a gerund. Perhaps the fact is clear to you. Fact is clear to you. Next we shall proceed towards R number 2, or rule number 2. Meaning of the gerund and infinitive. Infinitive, that means infinitive, the word infinitive has been derived from verb pattern or non-finite verb forms. And infinitives are two types: to infinitive and bare infinitive. And here the topic is meaning of the gerund and infinitive. And the gerund and the infinitive have same force of a noun and a verb. So they have no different meanings in most of the sentences. That means if we make a comparison between the gerund and the infinitive, and it will be clear that in most of the sentences, that means up to 90% of sentences, if infinitives are used, and in those sentences we can use the gerund. That means the meaning of gerund used in sentences is not different from the meaning of infinitive. Let's know the examples. Let's proceed towards the examples to show the difference of infinitive and gerund. Just before I have taught you, there is no difference in meaning between the gerund and to infinitive. Let's take two examples. Here is the column for the gerund and here is the column for the infinitive. Example number 1, tell me dancing. Here the gerund dancing is used here. And if we turn this sentence into infinitive, and it will be tell me how to dance. So, tell me dancing, tell me how to dance. So, there is no difference of a meaning between these two sentences. Example number 2, giving is better than receiving. Giving here is a gerund and receiving here is another gerund. In this particular sentence, there are two gerunds, giving and receiving. Giving is better than receiving. That means, according to Satya Sai Baba, it is better to give. That means learn to give, but not learn to give, learn to serve, but not learn to receive. So in this way, giving is better than receiving. So two gerunds are used in this sentence, and if we convert this sentence into infinitive, and it will be to give is better than to receive. To give is better than to receive. So these two sentences have no different meanings. That means so far as the gerund and the infinitive are concerned. Let's about the formation of a compound gerund. Compound means two. So how to form two gerunds, or how to form a compound gerund? To form a compound gerund, you will have to simply use the past participle form of the verb immediate after the gerund. Immediate after the gerund, you have to put the past participle form of the verb, and that can be made or that can be formed the compound gerund. Or in this way you can say that ing form of the verb plus V3 or the past participle form of the verb, and then it is, or then it will be the compound gerund. But the compound gerunds are used only for these two verbs. And what are the two verbs? The two verbs are have and be. In case of have verbs, in case of be verbs, we can use compound gerunds. But in other cases, we cannot. Formation of a compound gerund. The compound gerunds are formed by using a past participle immediate after the gerund. Immediate after the gerund of have and be verbs. That means only for have and be verbs, so the compound gerunds are possible, otherwise not. To make the fact clear, I have written G, that means G for gerund, plus B3, that means the past participle form of the verb, and that is known as compound gerund. But it will be appropriate only for two verbs, and they are have and be. To clarify the facts, I have given two examples for you. Yes, the first example is, I expected of having received a scholarship. And the second one is, I am ashamed of being criticized. So what is the compound word? What is the compound word? The compound word is, just like now you can see, only for two verbs, have and be. And they can be appropriated. So here having is the gerund and received is the B3. Being is the gerund and criticized is the V3. And in this way, having received, known as compound gerund or CG. And here, being criticized is known as compound gerund or CG. I expected of having received a scholarship with the gerund plus V3, and that is having received is the CG or compound gerund. And here I am ashamed of being criticized. So being gerund and criticized V3. So being criticized is known as compound gerund. Let's proceed towards rule number 4, and that is the passive form of the gerund. That means as of the other patterns of the sentences, the gerunds have also passive form. What are the passive form? Let's give a look. The first one, perhaps liking. You can say liking or killing or writing likewise. But I have taken here the example of the verb like. Liking, and its passive form will be, that means A means active and P means passive. And here the active form liking and its passive form will be being liked. And another example, here is another example, having loved, and its passive form will be having been loved. So in this way, perhaps I think that the passive form of the gerund is clear to you. Once again, liking, being liked, killing, being killed. So having loved, having been loved, etc. Next, rule number 5. Compound nouns with gerunds. Compound nouns with gerunds. Just like now you can see. So, rule number 5, and that is compound nouns with gerund. So some of the compound nouns are formed by the help of the gerund. That means gerunds are quite helpful for the formation of a compound nouns. Just like now you can see, you might have heard walking stick. Walking is the gerund. And stick, that means mixing with a stick, and it has formed a compound noun, and that is walking stick. What is walking stick? A stick that is used for walking is known as walking stick. So let's take some of the examples. Walking stick, yes, frying pan, that means a pan that is used for frying. Fencing stick, hunting whip, a whip that is used for hunting, and writing table, etc. These are the examples of compound nouns with gerunds. Next, we shall proceed towards the function or use of the gerund. Use means in which position or in which positions are used the gerund. That means the gerunds are used in various positions. That means, in other words, we can say the gerunds have various functions. But simply, I have written the 4 functions. What are the 4 functions? Yes, a gerund as a verb noun is used as, number 1, subject of a verb. Subject of a verb means at the front position of a sentence. Here swimming is a good exercise. Here is the example. And swimming, it is a gerund and it is used at the front position. So it is known as subject of a verb. And the person, if the gerund is used at the beginning of a sentence, at the front position of a sentence, and that is known as subject of a verb. Next, use number 2. Object of a transitive verb. Object of a transitive verb, that means the intransitive verbs take no object. So the verb that takes object or objects, that is known as a transitive verb. So the gerunds are also used as the objects of transitive verbs. Example, stop writing, and here writing is the gerund, and it is used as the object of a transitive verb, and here the transitive verb is stop. So it is the transitive verb and it is the gerund. So here gerund is used as the object of a transitive verb. You can see another example. To clarify the fact, I hate telling a lie, and here is also the gerund telling is used as the object of the transitive verb, that is hate. And then use number 3. Gerund is used as the object of a preposition. That means, example is, I am fond of telling the truth, and here of is the preposition, and immediate after of telling, that means the gerund is used, and such type of use is known as object of a preposition. And then use number 4. Complement of a verb. Complement of a verb means complement of a be verb or complement of a link verb. Example, what I must stop is smoking. What I must stop is smoking. And here be verb is used, is, and smoking is the gerund. And immediate after be verb or link verb, if the gerund is used, and that is known as complement, or that type of function is known as complement of a verb. I usually make separate videos in English language and Odia language. But if you have problems with the English language, it will be better on the part of you to watch the video through Odia language. And if this video is quite useful to you, please like, share and comment it. But to stay tuned with this channel, please subscribe it. Thank you.